Hey guys, it's Jake back here again with another video. It's been a while since I posted a video, but I thought today's video would be very fitting for what's coming across at least some of the East Coast. So right now there is a polar vortex winter storm. It's already started here in Ohio, basically sweeping across the middle of the United States and then some of the East Coast as well. So what comes with that is obviously traffic jams, people stuck on the side of the road, highways, all of that good stuff. Also, people stuck in their homes if they can't leave their house. But what I thought I would do today, since I've never done one before, is basically just what to keep in your vehicle during the winter time. This is what I keep in my vehicle. You'll see I've got stuff back here. This is what stays in my vehicle in the winter time, no matter what. I never mess with the stuff. I never get it out, any of that, unless I absolutely need to. People seem to be a little bit late whenever it comes to being prepared. So a good example is the grocery store a day before a winter storm hits. Usually the shelves are empty. People are lined up at the gas station, getting propane, gas, all that stuff. So people are a little bit late to prepare in general. But if you keep some basic essential items in your vehicle and in your house, then you won't be one of those people that's waiting in line for 3 hours trying to get propane. Now, I've kind of compartmentalized what I keep in my vehicle. So basically, I keep a warming kit, extra layers, some food, a little bit of water. I keep a first aid kit or multiple first aid kits. I have one in the back and I keep one in the front just in case I can't get to the one in the back. I also carry my vehicle emergency equipment. So that includes things like being able to patch a tire or a patch kit, track boards, all that good stuff, just to be able to get out of an area, maybe a little bit of brake fluid, a little bit of oil, just in case I need those. And then I also have what I call my go bag or go kit, which is basically just a small backpack with some basic emergency items. One of the things you have to keep in mind is most of my time spent in my vehicle is going to be in a rural area. It's going to be in areas like this, right, surrounded by woods. So I keep more wilderness type emergency equipment in mind, more so than somebody would say who lives in the city and just never goes out into more of a rural area. So, but I don't keep a ton because I do still teach. So normally I have my teaching bag in the back of my vehicle as well that I just grab so I can go off and teach a class, shoot a video, do whatever with. So something to keep in mind. I don't have as much the wilderness survival emergency equipment in mind as somebody else may. And two, it's all based off experience as well. Now, before we look into the back of the FJ, I will preface this by saying I have two different vehicles. I have a work truck and then I have this FJ. I keep pretty much the same stuff in both vehicles. My work truck has a lot more tools, things like that in it, because it's a work truck. So, and I've got a toolbox in the back of it. So most of that stuff stays in that toolbox, and that toolbox just stays locked. I don't have a ton of room to work with back here in the back of these FJs. That's kind of one of the downfalls when it comes to a Jeep or an FJ or something like that. There's not a ton of room to work with. So I basically put all my stuff in a big tote and I just leave it back there. It stays out of the way. It's not in the way if I go to get groceries, things like that. So that is what I have found the best way to put this stuff inside of this vehicle and to keep it inside this vehicle. Okay, so opening up the back of the vehicle, this is what it looks like all the time. For those of you who don't know, I am in trade school for HVAC. So I've got some tools and stuff around here that I use, number one, in class, and then also if I'm doing a job with somebody or something like that. So I've got some DeWalt bags with some of my power tools. I've got my service bucket and then my set of manifold gauges. So this right here is pretty much all the emergency equipment. It stays in here. Once I take this tool bucket stuff out, it leaves a nice big space for me to actually put stuff in. Right here, easy to get to. First aid kit. This is more of a trauma kit. I also have one in the front of my vehicle. This is the North American Rescue MFAC, mini IFAC basically, but it's got some items that I deem essential. You know, tourniquet. I've got some hydration tablets. I've got some goon tape for like blisters, things like that. Gauze, all that good stuff. So this is more of a heavy duty trauma kit, but it's nice and small and compact, and I can throw it in a backpack if I absolutely need to. Also have a snow scraper right here. Right, this is just a cheap one that I got at a gas station. And then I've got some brake fluid containers along here as well. So that's basically just holds it right there in that little net in the door of the FJ. So all I have to do is open it up and grab it. Okay, so again, little tub, right? On top, I keep one of these, this is that German sleep pad. This is really nice in case I need to crawl underneath the vehicle. I can throw it on the ground. It keeps me from getting too wet or muddy. I also have one of these just cheap military surplus wool blankets. I can use it if I'm hauling something to cover it up or whatever, but I can also lay it on the ground if I need to get underneath my vehicle. And two, if I'm stuck in my vehicle, like on the side of the interstate or something like that, it's just another blanket, another warming layer for me. So we'll set these to the side. Now I will say the tools and stuff, this service bucket, I transferred in between vehicles. So that's like kind of my catch-all bucket, I guess you can call it. In the back here, right behind this tub, shoved right in behind the tub, you can't even see it because it's just smushed up against the back. This is an old Hammock Gear 0 degree down quilt that I no longer use in a normal rotation. It's got a couple holes in it that I patched up, all that good stuff. And I know you're not supposed to keep them packaged up like this, but I'm no longer really using it that much at all. So for me, it's just a good item just to throw in here and just keep in here. And I don't really care much about, you know, the stuffing and all that. So this just rides in the back there and you can't even see it. It's completely out of the way and it just smushes up against the back. So this is just something else that, again, if I'm stuck in my vehicle, I'm able to warm myself up with it. This right here is my little emergency kit. We'll go over this in just a little bit. Okay, so looking at this tub, it's not a very big tub at all. You can't really put a huge tub back here because, like I said, there's not a lot of room. So let's open it up. This right here is basically what I would call my warming kit, okay? This has extra layers. I've got gloves in here. This has extra layers, gloves, an extra hat, base layers, extra socks, all that good stuff. So, and I also have some of these hand warmers. You can see I've already been in them. Hand warmers. I've got a little small brick of this Dash food, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Something I can nibble on if I need to. And then I've got 3 or 4, actually 4 or 5, sorry, bottles of water. I will say that I've never had this water freeze in this vehicle. I'm sure there's a better way to store this stuff, but like I said, I've never had it freeze, so I'm not super worried about it. This is my daily driver vehicle, so I'm not too worried about it freezing and busting, all that good stuff. But all of that is just in a small backpack, so it keeps it nice and organized and out of the way. So all I have to do is pull that out if I need extra layers or whatever. Boom, there we go. This pad's coming in handy now. So also, a lot of people like to keep a snow shovel. We don't get a ton of snow here in Southern Ohio. So I really prefer more of a military style shovel, mainly for the mud. If I'm stuck in the mud or something like that, this works a lot better than a snow shovel. Plus it's nice and compact and fits in here really good. Also have a big roll of this 1 mil plastic drop cloth and a big bright orange emergency blanket. I didn't put this stuff in here, like, it's keep in mind as an emergency shelter, which you can definitely make a super shelter out of this. But more so, again, if I'm laying on the ground under the vehicle, or maybe I need to put this thing up around the inside with the reflective side in to maintain the heat inside the vehicle if I can't run it for very long because I'm out of gas or whatever. The plastic drop cloth is nice if I'm towing something or I'm hauling something and it's raining and I need to cover it up, like a couch or something like that. So that's really the main reason why I keep this in here. This right here is just a good item to have. Cowhide leather gloves, protect your hands. I've got a little container of bungee cords in here, super handy. Tow strap, vehicle recovery. So I bought one of these big, I don't even remember the rating on this thing, huge tow straps. This can help me, number one, get out of a sticky situation if I'm stuck. It can also help me, I can also pull other people out of a ditch because around where I live, if you see somebody in a ditch, it's just common courtesy to help them out. So this thing is a thick strap. I don't ever see this thing breaking. But I also have a set of track boards on top of the vehicle, just in case I do get stuck or somebody else does. A lot of people will carry cat litter, but the track boards are nice because you can get smaller track boards that will actually fit down inside of here, and I think they work better. But I have the really long track boards. They're just strapped to the roof of my vehicle, and I don't have to worry about them until I need them. So tow straps, track boards, that gives you the option to get out if you need to. Alrighty, so next up, a couple quick repair items, roll of Gorilla Tape, and then just some Gorilla Glue. Two small, simple items you can keep in your vehicle that'll fix a lot of problems. Next up, jumper cables. Get you a good set of jumper cables, just in case you need to jump somebody else or whatever, but or you need to jump personally. But you buy a decent set of jumper cables. I like the ones that come in this little case. Keeps them nice and neat. And yeah, if you don't have these in your vehicle, this should probably be the first thing you put in your vehicle. Next up is going to be tire repair stuff. I know that most of your mechanics hate the Fix-A-Flat, but it does work. So keep a can or two of this inside of your vehicle. This stuff right here works wonders. So Fix-A-Flat, I got a tire plug kit. And then I also have a slime kit, which is basically another tire plug kit, but it's its own pump. So you can plug it into your vehicle and actually pump up your own tire. So a ton of tire plugs, all that good stuff. I've used this thing on multiple occasions, and it works great. This is one of the best ones that I have found. Every vehicle should have some type of fire extinguisher. This really should be mounted inside the vehicle. I just haven't got a mount for it, so I just stuck it in here, but some type of fire extinguisher. Small one, they're not super big, and if you need it, you need it. Small funnel, just in case I'm dealing with some type of fluid, so I need to put brake fluid in my vehicle, whatever. I've got a small funnel. It's like $2 or something like that. Next up is going to be being able to be seen and reflectives. So I've got a pack of the 30-minute road flares, and then a pack of the 15-minute road flares. If I'm trying to pull someone out on a main road and I don't want someone smashing into me or whatever, you can go put these out in the curve of the road, let them burn while you're doing it. Also, some type of reflective orange vest so you can be seen. You do not want to get hit helping somebody else out. Next up is going to be this is basically just like a small toolkit for the most part, right? So I've got some sockets, all that good stuff, a couple different pair of pliers. This is a small, real basic toolkit just in case I need to do a basic repair on the vehicle. So again, this is a pretty simple kit that doesn't take up a ton of room. And some of this stuff, when you need it, and some of this stuff comes in real handy whenever you actually need it. So this is basically what I keep just in this, I call it a chuck box, I guess. So you shake it off just like that. Put the lid back on it. Then toss it back in the vehicle. I also keep this Kafar duffel bag, usually just in the back seat of my vehicle. This switches vehicles depending on what one I'm using and how cold it is outside. And what this is heavy duty layers. Okay, and most of the time, like 95% of the time, I'm dressed exactly how you see me right now. I've got pants on, long underwear, a light oilskin jacket, I've got a Carhartt hoodie on, and then I've got a merino wool base layer underneath of that. So that's normally how I dress in cold weather. But something like this is really nice to have, especially if I'm working on something. If I got to crawl under a house or something like that, it's nice to have like an extra set of clothes and some bigger, beefier layers, just in case it is super, super cold outside. So that's what I keep in here. And again, this changes depending on what vehicle I'm using. I'll just grab it out of the other one, toss it in the other one. Not a big deal. But I have found that this is really a necessity for me. I've got some big, heavy-duty winter gloves that I'm actually going to put on right now because my hands are freezing. These things are just ginormous. These are Carhartt gloves, and they are just awesome. But I also have a weather wool. This is the Owl's Anorak. This is the heavy version. So this is a super heavy wool coat. Guys, I know weather wool is super expensive. I'm not going to try to deny that. It's not cheap wool at all. This is like an $800 jacket. But it is the greatest wool I have ever worn. I don't make a dime off of them. I don't get my stuff for free. Nothing like that. I paid for this full price. But this is the best merino wool that I have ever worn, ever. It far exceeds anything else out there. I don't care what company it is. But again, it comes with a price. But I'm glad I made the investment because this is probably one of my favorite jackets I've ever bought. A lot of times too, I'll wear like that camo Columbia wool jacket that you'll see in some of my videos. But again, I don't keep that in here. That's more of like an everyday wear. I keep this in here for extreme temperatures. So I've got that in there. And then I've got a set of, you can see they're super muddy. I was working the other day and it was a muddy mess. I just haven't thrown them back in the water. I haven't washed them yet, so I have to do that. But this is a set of Carhartt overalls, the insulated overalls. I don't care who you are on this planet. If you have merino wool base layers, a pair of pants, and these on top, it'll be super, super warm. You'll be sweating. But these are really nice to have from crawling underneath of a house. So I really, really like these overalls. Don't ever let anybody tell you, you know, the saying cotton kills. It is true, but something you have to think about is, number one, don't let yourself get wet. Number two, if you have merino wool base layers on and something like this on the outside, that's fine. I know a lot of my guys out there can probably attest to wearing Carhartt overalls or coveralls. They're hard to beat. So I've got a set of those in there. I've got the big jacket and I got my big winter gloves. So these are my extra big layers in case it is just frigid outside, which it was the other day. So that just all fits inside of this duffel. And again, I switch, this goes in and out of different vehicles, so it doesn't stay in there. But I like to be able to get to this stuff because I do use it pretty often, so I like to be able to get to it pretty quickly and easily. Next up is what's going to be what I consider my emergency equipment, right? This super small bag. This is a Helicon Tex Foxtrot bag. I'm a big fan of this thing. It's over the shoulder style, so you can sling it over if you need to. But again, I'm carrying my kit that I normally use for teaching and things like that, so I don't go super heavy on this portion of it. I basically have enough to get me by, but something you have to think about is I've got the backpack with all the extra layers in it, right? So if I have to walk somewhere, I have to walk out and I have to leave my vehicle, what I can do is I can take that backpack, throw extra layers in there, my food, my water, toss this guy in there. I can toss my 0 degree overquilt. You know, I have a lot of options here. I can basically camp out of this vehicle if I wanted to for the most part, but that's kind of the whole point of this is you have the 4 different types of kits, but they can all be combined together if you need to leave your vehicle for some reason. So that's kind of the whole premise behind me putting, things together the way I did. So this is a real simple, I can't grab it with my gloves. My gloves are too big. Real simple kit. I'm gonna take them off. My hands are freezing. I've got that, that Raynaud's disease or something like that, where my hands get super cold, super easy. That's why I have these gloves. So, but I'm gonna move the camera down here real quick and I'll just show you what's in here real fast. So, what do I have in here? First off, cutting tools. Got a Mora Companion orange, so I can drop, if I drop it, I can see it. Silky folding saw. It's just the Pocket Boy Silva Mini Compass for just general direction and all that good stuff. Exotac Match Cap XL with stormproof matches. I've got an Exotac fire rod with a striker and a whistle attached. I've got some water disinfection tablets along with a 1 liter platypus water bag. These are really nice for wintertime because you can stick them between layers and keep your water from freezing. So I don't really feel the need to put a hard container in here. Small light, flagging tape, 2 aerial signal flares, 50 foot of 550 cord, a large 55-gallon orange drum liner. This right here is pretty sweet. It makes signaling for rescue a lot easier as well with that blaze orange collar. I've got a glass signaling mirror, and then a 2-person SOL heat sheet. This is just an emergency space blanket. That's all I keep inside of that as far as survival equipment goes. A few things that I ended up forgetting as I was just getting ready to leave out of here. But being able to use the bathroom. If you're stuck in traffic for a long time, you got to use the bathroom. Well, I'm not carrying a 5-gallon bucket to poop on the side of the road, but that's just me. So I do have a package of Dude wipes inside of that duffel bag, one of the bigger packages. If I'm stuck in traffic and I've got to go use the bathroom, I'm walking 100 yards into the woods and taking a dump, okay? I'm not going to poop in a bucket on the side of the road, then put it back in my vehicle, so I have to sit there and smell it even though it's in a plastic bag. That's ridiculous, okay? Second off, there's one item that needs to be in your vehicle that I did not show because I do not have one right now. And I'll give you the reason for that. You need an external battery jumper that will actually jump your battery if you're alone, your car died or whatever. Now, I do not have one because I have blown through about 3 or 4 different ones that have not worked at all. So I'm kind of having a little bit of a hard time finding one that actually works really well. I think I'm going to actually have to buy a little bit more expensive one. Most of them are like 70, 80 bucks. But if you have any suggestions in the comments on a good brand one that actually works, put them in the comments below because I am looking for one. Again, for vehicle traction, I've got track boards right here behind my head, mounted up on top of the vehicle. Something else you didn't see in here that are in a lot of kit videos, and really the reason why it is because it's just inexperience, okay? I did a video 3 or 4 years ago where I stayed overnight in my vehicle in an ice storm. One of the things that I tested during that was the old candle in a coffee can trick. So a lot of people will put a coffee can with some candles inside of it just in case they need to light that inside their vehicle to stay warm or to keep the chill out, right? Coming from someone who has done it, that crap does not work whatsoever. It may take a slight chill out, and I've tried multiple different methods. I put 3 candles in a bush pod. I put 1 big candle in a coffee can, tip the coffee can upside down to act as a thermal mass heater, and have slept with that stuff, and it doesn't really work. So in my mind, I would rather just carry a few extra layers, maybe a couple extra blankets to combat the cold. And your body is going to thermoregulate a lot better by having extra layers on your body or extra blankets, things like that. So everyone's car kit's a little bit different. Again, this is tailored to me and my needs. Maybe you got some ideas from it, but the whole premise of the video is not to say this is what you need to be carrying or any of that stuff. Just have some type of equipment inside of your vehicle to be able to fix basic problems, to be able to get unstuck or pull somebody else out, and some basic emergency equipment and extra layers and stuff. It's not super difficult, but something small like that little tote in there with some basic emergency equipment in it can go a really long way, especially if you're stuck on the interstate for a few hours or a day or two. If you guys are in the path of this winter vortex or winter storm, stay safe out there, stay prepared, and yeah, see you guys in the next video. I hope you wanted to address that. I know I'm going to get some comments on lighting and being able to charge your mobile devices, so your phones and things like that. I carry a power brick with me every single day. I plug it in every night to make sure it's fully charged and ready to go for the next day. So I'm good on a power brick. As far as lighting goes, I carry a headlamp inside of my tool bucket, and I have a couple other smaller lights around the vehicle. But I use that headlamp pretty often, so it's pretty much always staying with me as well. So I don't worry too much about it. But yeah, keep something to charge your cell phone devices if you shut the vehicle off, and keep some lighting with you.